Well, joining us on the program now are the people from the Old Pros, and we have Sharon Rosen and Cheryl Strick. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, we're happy to be here.
Yeah, it's great. Now, you guys are the co-writers for Tales from the Woods. It's a terrific program that we've been able to work together on with Village Television and the Old Pros for nearly 4 years now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's really gotten some traction, too.
Has it?
I believe so. I mean, when you see people, and I'm sure when you're out and about, I mean, you all do different things within the community, so you're pretty recognizable. But I imagine people probably ask you, oh, I've seen you on that show.
They do, and it's always a surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, you're on that show,
Right.
I know you.
Isn't it funny getting in line at Stater Brothers or somewhere like that?
Exactly.
And somebody is just kind of eyeballing you, and then finally you're like, hey, and then like, you're from somewhere.
I know you. Where do I know you from?
Yeah,
Do you watch
exactly.
Village TV? Yeah!
Well, I don't get that very much.
Well,
You're not on camera
I'm
very
behind,
much.
I'm
yeah,
behind the scenes.
You're the director and you're the co-writer of
Right.
many of these episodes, so
Right.
you're kind of behind the scenes.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Let's talk about this new season, the new episodes, and you've actually introduced a new character as well. So that's pretty exciting.
We
to
bring on
see.
new characters quite often because, you know, you mix it up with new people you meet.
Well, we have plenty of characters in our community.
So we do.
So yes, the current episode is season 4, episode 9. So we've been on for 4 seasons, and it's called Happy Hour because we've decided to start introducing a happy hour to our show. And we actually were just talking about it. We may even introduce happy hour once a month in our community.
Oh, wow.
It's in the planning
right.
stage.
we just started talking about it like an hour ago.
And-
So
And we brought in a new character in episode 8, and we wanted to give more information about her and show more of who she is. And that's what we did in episode 9, and boy, did we show it.
Oh, great, yeah. I was talking to PJ about the show, and he was telling me that she came across a little rough around the edges during that first episode, and now we got to figure out how she's going to kind of assimilate with the rest of you in these next programs.
soften her up a bit.
Yeah.
Right.
That's my character's job, is to try to get her to loosen her girdle.
Right. We could use that around here. Yeah. So tell us, how does that develop now? How do you create those stories then?
Well, we met this actor, and we really liked her, and we really wanted to work with her. And so she's really versatile, and we made her very rigid at first. And then we realized we really like working with her, and it would be nice, but she can't be rigid all the time. So then we had to feed her some liquor.
That's how happy hours starts.
Exactly.
And actually, we shoot at my house. We shoot the episodes at my house, and I forgot to buy grape juice for the wine, so we actually used real wine.
Oh, wow.
And so her character really loosened up at this episode, and she was able to go from a really uptight woman to a very loosely wound. Well, not for her.
Not that loose yet.
But
for her.
what's really neat about our show is how the various actors have gotten into character and maintain the character as to who they are. And so when they get on, as soon as we get on, they are that character.
Wow.
It's really neat.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah. That's why you're pros.
That's why we are pros.
We are, and not so old pros.
But the show is scripted, but it sounds
Yes.
like you can improvise somewhat. And
no.
No.
Not really. Not really. What we do tell the other actors is
That sounds like a director, right?
Yeah.
Let's just stick to the
not
script.
improvise. What we do tell the other directors, if the way we wrote that line doesn't come out of your mouth easily, then say it the way it would.
Yeah.
But don't change anything.
Yeah, because just shooting commercials for 30 seconds is
Right.
difficult, and you always have people that just want to stray or think they can just pull it off in a certain way.
Yeah.
But
and
we
it just
can't-
doesn't work sometimes.
We can't do that because we have actors with a script, and so the people following the actor who's improvised are like, what?
We need to hear our cue.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway,
that.
this next episode is pretty neat. This episode that's playing right now, because I'm actually in it for a second. My picture is in it, and because I won a dance contest.
Oh, wow.
Well, her character did.
The character did.
So where do you get the ideas and content for all these episodes?
Okay, many of the ideas come from Cheryl getting pissed off at somebody.
And so I handle it by writing about it.
Oh, wow. Great.
There have been situations in the community that have gotten under my skin, and so I've written about it.
Wow.
And then we're able to like move it around.
Yeah.
Or people tell me stories about situations, and we're able to use them in the show.
Yeah.
Actually, recently so our dear friend Miranda went to Alaska. So in one episode, we had somebody dressed behind a green screen, but she was dressed in a
Parka.
a parka,
Okay.
saying how cold she was, how she had a great idea for a meal that Jackie could provide. And Miranda said to me afterwards, "You're using my life." And that's what I do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, well, that's how all these movies and television
Yeah.
shows started.
Most of them come from people's real life experiences, and then you expound on them.
Right. Well, Frank Marshall and Gary Marshall made a great living off of just
Exactly.
their neighborhood, right?
So I'm hoping that
Exactly.
anybody watching this show will still tell me about things.
Yeah, absolutely.
They won't hide away.
Yeah. So talk about the program. You actually air on Village Television twice a week.
We air the same episode for a month, and it's shown twice a week on Mondays at noon and Saturdays at 5:30. In case you miss it, and it's also on YouTube on the Village Television YouTube channel.
Yes. Right.
So it's so hard to not be able to get in touch with
No
it.
excuse to miss it.
And I think it would be really neat if people watch it and call Village Television to say that they watched it,
Yeah,
so that we have
absolutely.
some kind of idea
Yeah.
about how many people in the community
Right.
are viewing it.
And then you could also leave friendly comments,
Yes.
we hope, on YouTube, because
Yeah,
every
yeah,
once in a
that's
while
right.
we'll get some nice comments regarding the program. So if you can just check the comments there, we'd appreciate that too. And if you have any storylines you might want to share at some point, that'd be interesting.
Well,
too.
people always have storylines for us. Some interesting, some not
But
so
I
much.
think you should watch this episode because it's really neat. We have this new actor who is showing a side of her, and I think a lot of people in the community will be able to relate to her because she's a person who's had situations that are not so great, and she's trying to overcome them.
And it's interesting because even though we're all aging, it's almost like being back in school again when you move into a new community, right? You're just trying to, who's
Trying to
going to be
fit
my
in.
next friend? How am I going to fit in? What interests will I have? And
Or the first time you go into a meeting and you don't know anybody and nobody comes up to you to say hello. That's terrible.
to
And
sit
it
down
happens
and
quite
kind
a
of
bit.
work it out.
I kind of equate living in this community as being back in 8th grade.
Right.
So
It does. I said high school. It's high school all over again.
it really is
Yeah,
in so many ways.
Which is great. How difficult is it to get the production schedule going? Because you're shooting shows every month. You're writing. Now we have to shoot.
Well, you know,
you really don't have 3 weeks to prepare.
It's,
right?
Yeah, it's funny. Before COVID, it was sort of lackadaisical. We didn't get a new. Our schedule wasn't as tight. But then with COVID and we were producing everything on Zoom, it was much easier. And then with the new producer, it's been easier. We've been on a rigid schedule once a month, and the actors are able to get their lines memorized. For the next episode that we're working on, the actors are all in other productions, and they've asked for fewer lines. So
we brought back in some characters who had guested in previous episodes, and we have a big meeting with all of these characters, so everybody only has 1 or 2 lines, and they're all very happy.
Yes, yes.
They're doing other things.
So how hard is it? We're now on a schedule. The main actors actually, we like getting together. We meet every Monday at my house for a rehearsal. It doesn't take that long, and then nobody leaves.
Until we get it done right.
Right.
No, we sit and chat.
Good. Yeah. Well, it sounds like a lot of fun. I imagine if people had somewhat of a theater background, could probably contact you via the email, and then you could.
Yeah, it would be great to
You
know.
don't really have auditions, but I imagine you kind of have conversations with people. Hey, I used to do that.
We have had
You never
auditions in the
know.
past.
Oh,
We
have you?
have had big open auditions just to see who's here
And we found
who we
actually,
can write for.
And actually, we found a few people from the open old pros
Oh, great.
auditions, so that was very helpful.
and-
So if
and created
people,
characters
if
because of
people
what we
want to
saw.
contact us via the website, that would be great.
Okay, sounds good. Well, the show airs on Mondays at noon and then Saturday at 5:30. And if you'd like to contact them, be sure and just look up their website, ocoldpros.org, and get all that information. Thanks so much for joining us on the program.
Thank
Sounds like
you.
you're having a great
We're having
time.
a great
Thanks,
time.
Paul.
Yeah, you bet. Make sure you give them a call or email them, and that's the ocoldpros.org. We'll be back with the New York Club right after this.